Okay. Well, Senna on pole with some margin. WTF Freak on P2, you'd love to see it. Tessa invalidated his run.
Sugar
That could
honey
be
iced tea.
huge. This is gonna be an interesting race. Tessa at the back.
This is just ridiculous.
Alright guys, I'm going to need you two to take the start because I can't see it. I'm on the wrong tab. So I need.
Yeah,
so you
it's
guys
still
are just going to
loading
need to. I know. I'm not going to be there on time. I know.
Ah yeah, they just started. Good start for Senna. From P1. Mucha going for P2 into turn 1. All pretty calm so far. Not much chaos. Senna losing the lead side by side. And I think...
Fantastic move by Senna there.
Yeah.
It looks like the Mercedes got bogged down there. He's now being overtaken by the opportunity of WTF Freak 99 and Papa Squanch, who are currently battling over P2 side by side, going through the double right-hander, and WTF Freak holds on to P2.
Oh well, clean start so far.
Yeah, I can't complain a bit much for that one. The grief has fell right back to the back of the pack.
Tessa still P10. He will need to overtake a lot of guys to keep the championship hopes up for him. Senna already 1.2 seconds ahead. He is checking out. See you later. (22.1). That's not a bad first lap for him. Not at all. WTF Freak is gonna struggle like hell on the straights. A little bit of contact. All clean so far. A Ferrari 1-2.
Papa Squanch has now got they fell behind by 1.9 seconds. Has got a gap of 1.2 seconds between P3 and 4, who are currently fighting over those respective positions.
Yeah. P3, WTF Freak on the mediums compared to everyone else in the top 5 on the soft, so that's something we should keep an eye out for. Lil Greavy, P6 on the hards. Matty Pitt behind him, P7 on the hards. And besides that, it's pretty much a mix between softs and mediums. Nothing crazy on the first lap, so that's good. Battle for the podium still on. Senna going a 1:22 on the fastest lap. I'm sure he would want to win this race, fastest lap, and close the gap to Tessa in P9 in the championship. Currently, Senna is quite a bit behind. Tessa on 231 points, Senna 196. So he needs to make some inroads in order to keep his dreams of getting the championship here at Motive alive. 35 points a deficit, and if it stays as it is, he is gonna gain quite a few points. Tessa up to P7 already, starting from pretty much from the back. So he's not waiting around any longer to get back to the front either. Yeah, I think from my experience racing on this game, I think you can make a soft medium or medium soft work. So, yeah, I don't think the game simulates that pretty well. Because on other tracks where the tire wear is usually way lower, the fastest strategy is gonna be hard medium or medium hard. But yeah, we will see. I think Tessa will be hoping for a late safety car right after the soft run is pitted. Loving his life.
I'm sure he loves it anyway, but, you know, hey ho.
The one who is not gonna want safety cars is Senna. 4 seconds ahead after almost 4 laps completed. His pace is looking like unbeatable tonight.
Yeah, but as we saw many times here, many things can come into factor someone's race, even if it is looking very flawless. Something can come out of nowhere and just cause so many issues.
If you say that.
Yeah.
Having issues with stream.
I'm trying to sort out about 6 different things, mate. Hold on.
And I'm not talking about PlayStation stream either.
From what I can see, it appears to be running alright now.
Yeah, but it's still, at least on the YouTube stream quality and everything's fine, but the view that I've got from the screen share is like worse than 144p.
Yeah, but
pixel.
a stream share quality is always... Oh.
It's not this bad. Never been this bad.
Okay. Yeah, Williams.
I don't know. My main phone won't connect to the internet for some reason, and my backup phone is a piece of absolute shite. So I'm not gonna. If that's not working, I'm not really too concerned because I know that it shouldn't be anyway, but it doesn't. But I'm trying to connect to the internet on my other phone. I can't. It's not loading it.
Well, Andy, if you stop the screen share, I will put the screen share up because then it would cost you less internet.
Mate, it's not that. It's the fact that this could be a problem. I need to just. It might it might not be a problem. We could take care of the issue tonight, but it's like we wouldn't be able to sort it out next time. I mean, I guess we can do for now, but it doesn't solve the future problem, you know. But,
yeah, that's true.
But yeah, if you want, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I just started the screen share. Usually when I engineered the esports guys for my team and they started the screen share, it was so shit for the internet.
This is how we've been doing the PS and set up Bossa streams. This is how we've been doing F1 streams for weeks now. We've not had a problem.
Oh, Muja retired. What happened with him? Straight into the wall on sector. Ooh, that was a big crash. Safety car deployed. Perfect timing for Senna, to be honest. On those softs, P1, 10-second gap, so he would have preferred to have no safety car, I say. W2F Freak, why are you such an idiot? Getting a 5-second time penalty, just kidding, love you. But yeah, 5-second time penalty for him. Matty continuing. Will he come out ahead? Of course he will come out ahead. Matty in P1 still needs to make his pit stop, of course, but Tessa P5 on the hards, Senna P2 on the mediums. No way he's getting those to the end.
Andy, do you remember a driver that used to race here going back, Mike F1?
Yeah, I remember him. He raced here for a few races last season.
Yeah, he was asking if he could come back.
Oh yeah, of course. The problem on YouTube is playback is the problem.
Well, it seems to be running fine with me now. It doesn't help that you're running it in HD either, because normally you would run it locked up to local, normally you would run it at 720.
Oh, so is it running okay now?
Seems to be.
Okay.
My internet is quite stable, so it should be able to run it smooth.
Oh wait, it's Gertian that's doing the chair, that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why was it working better for the final worse internet?
How's the stream going? Because I'm still trying to sort that out.
Oh, it's going fine now.
Oh, the actual stream?
Yeah, the actual stream's going fine now. Like I say, I think it's probably because you're trying to run it 1080p instead of your 720.
Yeah, but it's still in 1080p now.
Yeah, but bear in mind, I think having it at 720 kind of gave that kind of a compensation between the share screen and the stream.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
What was the stream like before?
What with 720?
No, earlier on, before we switched to share play. What was the actual YouTube stream like?
Oh, it went down to like
Figured out I can't watch the stream whilst we're live. I can't. It just for some reason this internet is very temperamental. It's fast, it's good, and it can stream. But for some reason it's very temperamental. Any other devices that are like playing videos whilst streaming it, and it completely throws it off. So I've realised that the only option is for me to rely on you, Iain, or Gertian to read the comments, or anything like that. I can't have the stream playing, unfortunately. That's one thing I've realised in this new place with this Wi-Fi. I just can't do it. But currently here, ladies and gentlemen, you'll always join us on lap 10 of this Mexican Grand Prix. Apologies, haven't been able to really say anything here. I've been leaving it to these two, but we're here under safety car due to Muha crashing out of the race. Kikeko obviously was out of the race before that. Still a long way to go though. We're not even a third of the way into this race, and strategy could play a big hand with obviously drivers like Senna having been in and put the fresh medium tyres on. I think you were right, Gertie. I think you hit the nail on the head earlier when you said that it's going to take something special to beat him tonight, and even more so with the fact that he's on those fresh medium tyres now.
Yeah, Tesla on the hards, and he is good on tyre management. So I think strategically we will have a very interesting race today.
Senna's got to absolutely drop the hammer now and try and make as much of a gap to Tesla as he possibly can, hasn't he? If he can't have sort of like a 15-second gap, I think, before he comes in, he might have a bit of problems here, because he's going to obviously be able to put the softs on at the end. Although saying that, is he? I mean, is he going to be able to go far enough? I guess we're going to find out. But Little Greavy here making a move to the inside of a Senna on the straight line speed into turn one. As Senna holds it around the outside, Little Greavy just runs the curve, over the curve a little bit, but holds onto it, and he's still ahead of Tesla Mother for the time being. As we can see, we've T's moved ahead of WTF Freak up into 9th place, but Little Greavy side by side with Tesla. Tesla looking to the inside here into the chicane. This is going to be job done here for Tesla. I think it is. He goes down the inside and up into 2nd place. So Tesla Mother up in position as Matty Pitt has moved ahead of Eggman up into 7th place, and the Grieve has gone around the outside of Mr. Basil there up into P10. So he's into the points paying positions, but Senna leading the race out front ahead of Tesla Mother. Tesla though is going to be chasing him down here. Obviously knows that he can go to the end realistically from here. Senna definitely can't. Senna needs to pull out a gap and then try and do something to be able to put the softs on at the end. Can he go far enough into the race to put the softs on, or is he going to have to run 2 medium stints? I think that's going to be the question that we're going to have to wait and find out here.
I'd say softs are possible. He is like 9 laps before we had the safety car, so I think he can easily go a few laps, put the softs on the end, and the undercut is extremely powerful. New tires versus old tires, especially around this track, Sector 2, they are flying. But the question is, will it be enough?
Absolutely. Can he go far enough into the race to be able to safely get the softs to the end from where he puts them on? Obviously that's going to be another thing, as we see Papa Squanch down the inside of Little Greavy into turn 1. Little Greavy powerless to do anything about that. Papa Squanch up into 3rd place. As we can see on the timing board here, Mr. Basil's dropped down the order down to 11th place, sorry, to 12th place even. The Greaves moved ahead of T there up into P9, and Matty Pitt has mixed up another driver here up into 6th place ahead of Liberty Walk. The Liberty Walk's trying to keep it around the outside here, goes a little bit deep but manages to keep himself there. Matty's still on the outside. Oh, and he gets tagged by Liberty there. Bit of contact there between them, bit of rubbings racing, and he's back down the Eggman coming under Eggman putting the pressure now on Liberty Walk, but Liberty staying ahead of him for the time being. Matty Pitt up into P6 though. He's had a good restart, to be honest. He's passed a few drivers, he's made a few inroads, and yeah, he's doing a good job at the moment. Horatio on the back of Little Greavy here in this fight for P4. Matty Pitt and Liberty Walk both with penalties at this stage in the race, so that will affect their finishing position obviously by the time we get to the end of the race. But then again, they might not be the only ones by the time we get to the checkered flag. Still a long way to go here, but currently got a train of cars, Little Greavy, Horatio and Matty Pitt, with Liberty Walk and Eggman and the Grieve as well. In fact he's on the back of that train as well. It's a 7-car train here from 4th. In fact, no, it's a 9-car train here from 4th down to 12th place. There's a lot of drivers in a short space, as we can see. Horatio looking to the inside of Little Greavy into turn 1. Is he going to be able to make this one stick here? I think it's going to be Horatio there around the outside actually into turn 1 in the McLaren. Job done there for him up into 4th, and Matty Pitt follows him through. So Little Greavy amazing out 2 places there, as WTF Freak moving ahead of T there up into P10 as well. So much going on right now, it's hard to keep up with, but in the meantime guys, big one, Senna is pulling away from Tesla as he needs to.
Yeah, he definitely needs to. If he wants to win this race, he needs to pull a gap in order to make the strategy work, and to keep his championship dreams alive this season.
Yeah, it's going to be, I'm sure, Gertie, obviously I can speak to you about this because yourself, you're an F1 champion here at Motive, albeit your championship season may not have been as contentious as these two's. It's saying that you were involved in you were always at the sharp end even before your championship season though, but when you're in a situation where you're trying to close that gap into points and you've got a chance to really gain a load of points with your championship rival down the order on the grid, and then after a couple of laps you see that your championship rival is the next car behind you, do you feel that sinking feeling? Do you think, oh, for goodness sake?
I think knowing how Senna felt after his pole position, seeing Tessa down in P12 I think it was, he must have been happy seeing that, and then right now we're on lap 14. He is in P1, controlling things, 2.5 second gap, obviously on a different strategy, but he must be good at. He needs a big point swing in order to keep it alive, and right now Tessa is pretty much doing what he needs to do. Get in P2, stay inconsistent, and that's what wins you championships. So I think Senna might be a bit disappointed by that. Tessa very happy with his position if I was him. Consistency, as always, is key in not just races but across a whole season. I wasn't always getting the wins, but usually just aiming for a podium, and consistent points gained me championships along the lines. So I think Tessa is pretty happy.
Yeah, I think Tez's obviously doing a good job at the moment. If he finishes second in all the races, actually, from now until the end of the season, he'll still win the championship. He can afford to follow Senna home. It could be a similar situation to Hamilton-Rosberg, maybe. 2016, where obviously all Rosberg had to do was finish in second for the remaining races. He went and did that, and Hamilton won all of them, but nothing he could do because his teammate was following him home every race. We see WTF Freak into the pits here at the end of lap 15. And so is Little Greavy as well. In fact, lap 14, should I say. So 2 drivers coming in. WTF Freak could put a set of hards on and go to the end, which he is doing by the looks of it. Little Greavy is putting the softs on because he started on those hard tyres, which means he has to use 2 different compounds. So he's going to put those softs on and be off and away. Again, I imagine a medium stint will be coming up for him in the final stint of the race. But Senna still out the front, has got nearly 4 seconds of a gap here over Tezza Mazza at the moment, continuing to pull out that gap, which, as we said before, he needs to do whilst he's got that tyre advantage, because it will not last forever. Horatio is just behind Matty Pitt at the moment in the battle for P4, but Matty Pitt, whilst Gertie was speaking, did actually make the move on him, so Matty Pitt is up into 4th place and is just bit by bit pulling away from Horatio at this point. He's not massively quicker, but he is. I think he's just got the edge over him. The Greaves on the back of Mr. Basil as well in the battle for P9, as these guys fighting it out over 1 and 2 points here for their championship tally. But Horatio still sticking to the back of Matty Pitt, to be fair to him. 0.6 of a second between these two as they're coming over the line here to complete lap 15. And Horatio, I think, just a little bit too far away at the moment. As the Grieve has got ahead of Mr. Basil. That's because Mr. Basil had a spin, so Mr. Basil there dropping time, and it's down to P10. In fact, no, the Grieve's waited for him, so those two must have had contact there, which I assume the Grieve is taking responsibility for. He's let him back past. So those two continuing on their way as if nothing happened. And the Grieve passes him again, slingshots him down the straight, back up into 9th again. So obviously apologising for presumably wiping him out, and has then gone and passed him back almost immediately. But Horatio still on the back of Matty Pitt. These two still having a good fight for P4. The rest of the battle's not really going on at the moment. But yeah, obviously from what we're seeing, a race is developing for the lead. A battle is on the cards, because we know Senna has to pit again. We know Tezza Mazza definitely doesn't, but Tezza's tyres are going to be quite warm by the end, and he's on a slower compound as it is. And obviously when you take tyre wear into it as well, he's going to be on a knife edge here by the time we get to the end of this race. So I imagine we'll probably see Senna pitting and coming out some way behind Tezza, but then Senna is going to have so much pace on him at the end, it's going to be really, really hard for Tezza to hold him at bay. There's Horatio here making a move on Matty Pitt down the start finish straight with DRS wide open. He's looking to the inside. Matty's going to try and come back at him into turn 1 as he throws a little feint to the inside. I think it is just a feint though, and Horatio there gets the move done, back up into 4th once again here.
Not much Matty can do. He's out of DRS, doesn't have the DRS because obviously just one DRS detection zone here at Mexico. And yeah, Horatio passed into P4.
Yeah, he's done a good job there as Horatio. He's going to now focus on Papa Squanch. These two actually, whilst this all been going on in front of them, they've actually been closing in on Papa Squanch quite quickly here. So they're now bringing themselves into the battle for the podium places. Matty Pitt's got a penalty. We're not quite sure what the nature of that penalty is. Once we get to the final stint, we'll get the penalties up on the screen. Once the tyres are no longer, or rather whilst the tyre life is no longer an issue, we'll switch on to the penalties. But That will obviously make a change in some way or another by the time we get to the end. But riding on board Papa Squanch, you can see there he's got the McLaren all over his rearview mirrors at the moment as he's looking to try and get a bit of a run. This is going to be a good opportunity here for Horatio. I think down the start-finish straight, I'll be surprised if he doesn't get this move done here. Matty Pitt will be looking to try and follow suit as well. But here we come out onto the start-finish straight now. And this is going to be Horatio surely up into third place quite easily, in fact. As they come over the line, he'll now get the DRS as well as a bit of extra good measure here. And Matty Pitt here also in the slipstream, but he's too far back on Papa Squanch coming into turn 1. But Horatio there moving himself through. And there is Papa Squanch and Matty Pitt now at the rear of this trio. But Horatio doing what he had to do there, making that move very nicely indeed. Oh, it's Mr. Basil has had a bit of a moment. He's dropped down to P12. So not quite sure what's happened there to him, but not the best of situations there for him.
And I think in the meantime, whilst that happens, Senna is starting to lose his pace over Tezza. His medium's probably in a worse shape than the hards of Tezza. He is not gaining as much anymore. And that 4-second gap that he currently has won't be enough to put another set of tires on and overtake him, I reckon.
Maybe he's in that sort of grading phase where he's just trying to look after them, and then before he comes in, maybe he'll just put in a couple of stonkers before his actual pit stop comes around. Maybe he's just looking after them for the time being, knowing that he can push at the end of his stint. I don't know. It's just a theory, maybe.
Well, there's this thing in the F1 games. I think it's even more recognizable.
I'm watching the battle through the stadium section. Sorry, guys. There's T there. Attacks the back of Liberty Walk, coming out of the stadium section through the final corner. Oh, as we're watching this battle here down the start-finish straight. Go on, mate. Carry on, but also check out this battle, P7.
Yeah. Let's keep an eye on that first. DRS 4T. Yeah, not much Liberty can do there. DRS wide open. Unless he really sends it. Nah, that's not gonna work. T will have DRS on the next straight and he will probably be checking out for now. Unless Liberty can keep the gap closed through sectors 2 and 3, and then he will have another shot at the start-finish straight.
Also, Matty Pitt is up into P4, so he's moved ahead of Papa Squanch now as well. So, but he's lost time to Horatio. Obviously, whilst they've both had to negotiate Papa Squanch, it's given Horatio a bit of a march here on Matty Pitt, and Matty's going to have to really dig deep here if he wants to bring himself back into that fight. He's obviously on the mediums compared to Horatio on those hards, but then it also, and like we were saying with Senna and Tezza, Senna's advantage over Tezza isn't as strong now that he's done a few laps on those mediums, so maybe it's going to be similar for Matty Pitt in relation to Horatio, because the gap's now staying at about 1.5 seconds. He's not really bringing it down anymore. Papa Squanch is actually staying within DRS here on Matty Pitt as well, so showing he's got the pace here to keep himself in this battle for P4. The gap between Senna and Tezza, it's gone up a little bit over the last lap. I think Senna's slightly quicker, but like you say, Iain, not quicker to an extent that it's really going to make any sizable difference at this point. And you know, he needs to be lapping at least 0.5 second a lap quicker if he's to be in that window where he can chase him down at the end of the race. And obviously the soft tyres, they'll be good for about 5 laps, but then after 5 laps he's going to have next to no advantage over Tezza, you know, in those closing stages. So it's difficult, isn't it? I mean, yeah, what does Senna do? Does he put the mediums on now and try and obviously that will get him to the end, or maybe put the mediums on in a lap or so? He'll have much better pace for a few laps, probably about 10 laps or so. He'll have quicker pace, but will it be enough?
Well, I think if Senna is in a party with his teammates, I think he will be open for some kind of fight.
By the way, guys, I just want to confirm that Gertjan never deployed this strategy when he was an F1 driver here at Motive. He didn't win his championship through any means of this sort. You know, he never deployed this kind of tactic when he was winning the championships. I promise you that now. If he did, I would have heard about it. So do not worry.
Definitely not.
Matty Pitt around the outside of Papa Squanch here as they come through turn 2, and these two are still side by side, and Papa Squanch just giving Matty a bit of a tap there in the rear as he came around, but Matty Pitt still holding on for P4. Papa Squanch though not giving this one up easily, but Matty continuing to lose time to Horatio whilst these two go at it here. So yeah, for the time being it's still as you were in this little scrap. There's a gap coming down a little bit more here between Senna and Tezza. Tezza's gained 0.2 of a second on this lap alone. So Senna, surely he's got to wait for the soft window. Surely he's got to hope that he can match Tezza for the next 5 laps, and then who knows? The softs would be about 2 seconds a lap quicker than the hards, but is he going to be too far behind? Is he going to leave himself with too much to do here? That's the big question.
I think so. His only chance right now is either a safety car or somehow getting these tyres to the end, but I would be surprised if he does that.
So would I as well. But we can see here Papa Squanch still on the back of Matty Pitt. Ian, you've been awfully quiet, mate. Are you still there?
Yeah, I've just not had a chance to speak because every time I do, some cunt shames out in front of me.
Okay. Oh, sorry about that. But anyway, obviously we can see Senna's currently 4/10 off of his pace. It's not actually that far off of the pace. I think maybe Tezza's just getting more confident potentially on those tyres.
Yeah, I think currently Senna has 13 laps on his mediums. I think he will be starting to feel the tyre wear on them. Hards are just extremely good, especially with Tezza. I think he's a bit like me in that case, just loving life on hard tyres. So yeah, I think the gap will start to come down every lap a little bit.
Yeah, I think you're right. He's just chipping away bit by bit at the moment. We can see Papa Squanch still on the back of Matty Pitt here. By the way, I don't know if it's obvious, but I'm actually stood up for this stream. I usually sat down in a chair. Right now, I'm literally stood by my desk because my TV's like about 6 foot off the ground. As we can see, Senna's now in the pits. So surely medium tyres going on that Ferrari. He's not going to get a set of softs to the end from here, and it is another set of mediums. So he's coming in before he gets too much wear on those. He was losing time to Tezza. He was losing far too much time. And he's gone, you know what, I'm better off just putting another set of those yellow mark medium tyres on and just trying my best to take as much out of them as I can. Then again, he's come out, oh, this could be crucial, he has come out behind Matty Pitt and Horatio. So Horatio, I think, probably needs to come in again. Oh, no, he doesn't actually. Horatio doesn't have to come in again. And to be fair, he's only going to have to do 25 racing laps on those hard tyres because he came in during the safety car, so Horatio might be able to go to the end. Saying that he's not going to have a match for Senna's pace. Matty Pitt's definitely got to pit again because he only put his medium tyres on lap 11. Horatio, I'm pretty sure he doesn't need to come in again, so he's good at the moment. T into the pits here at the end of lap 23. As WTF Freak has moved ahead of the grid, but they're still battling here, coming through turn 3. And WTF Freak just makes that move, but the Greave's going to get the DRS here. Down this straight. No, in fact, he doesn't get the DRS, but he got a much better drive out of the corner and gets the move done anyway. Great exit there from the Greave, and back up into 7th place he goes.
That was unexpected.
Yeah, I know.
The
guy got
DRS.
Oh! Aggressive.
Oh.
Very aggressive. That's a bit naughty there. For me, that's a little bit below the belt. I know a lot of people say Robbing's racing, but for me, that was a bit too far. What do you reckon,
That was quite a scent. Quite a scent. It's definitely on the edge. It is on the edge. Senna moving up to P2 already.
What do you think, Iain? What do you think of that dive bomb into the hairpin?
Well, from the angle that I had, it was because with the camera cut away to the other driver because you know F1 camera crew just don't have the best of timing. It does seem like it was a bit forced. He did kind of push his way in there, and he didn't have anywhere really to go apart from off track. So, in my opinion, that would be a definite penalty.
Well, he's currently pulling away. Yeah, I agree with you personally. WTF Freak though has pulled out a bit of a gap to the Greaves since then. Obviously, the Greaves medium tyres are now going to be filling the pace quite considerably. So you can understand maybe why WTF Freak went for the move because he knows he's a quicker driver at this point and was just being held up. But at the same time, moves like that are just simply not okay. I think that you have to weigh up all of the pros and cons. But I think overall, looking at the bigger picture, it was probably a move that was unnecessary and. It gave him the position maybe a few corners earlier than he would have otherwise had it. It was a matter of time. It was going to be his. He was the quicker driver. He didn't need to make the move, and it was unnecessary. But Matty pit into the pits, so he's put the medium tyres on. He'll be good to go to the end. I wondered if he might be longing it out for the softs, but not to be the case by the looks of it. Although, having said all of that, look at the battle for the lead. Currently, Tezza 11 seconds ahead of Senna at the moment. Obviously, we've got just over 11 laps left to go. Senna's got to go about a second a lap quicker on those medium tyres. They're 14 laps fresher. I mean, he's got to really go for it, but a second a lap, it's doable, it's possible.
It is definitely not impossible.
This could be an absolutely thrilling finish to this Mexican Grand Prix between two title rivals coming into this round. 35 points separating the two of them, but it could be a bit less than that, or it could be a little bit more. I tell you what though, if Tezza wins tonight here in Mexico City, it's going to make that task for Senna just that little bit more insurmountable. If he can close the gap down to 28 points, or 27 maybe, he will have a fighting chance going into the final two rounds, because there's two races at the final round at Brazil, Interlagos. There's a sprint race as well as a Grand Prix. So there's a few more points on the table for that one. But if Tezza wins this one, I think that could just about be the nail in the coffin here for Senna.
Possible may sound bad, but it does have possible in the words, so...
That's definitely true.
Yeah, it's a fair point. Yeah, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. Although, look at this. Senna is really bringing the gap down. He might not need to rely on the impossible to come true. If he can get this win here tonight, he would be very much keeping it as a distinct and realistic possibility. But look at this. He's absolutely ragging that Ferrari round.
Yeah, but as we've saw many weeks of racing on F1, you may be going faster at that particular moment, but obviously, as every single racer knows, the more you push, the more you're going, the faster your tyres are just going to fall off a cliff.
Yeah,
I don't think it's that much of a difference on the F1 games. The F1 game, of course, is an arcade game, not a sim, so maybe
the tyre thing is still bad in this.
Yeah, I think...
Well, we saw, I can't remember, I think it was Cameron who was in the chat, said that a set of medium, I think it was either the hards or the mediums, I think it was like 9-10% a lap. I know Qatar is a really hot track and everything, but with how fast that second sector can be taken, it's not hard to imagine that those tower life and that could go, could get quite hard as well.
Well, riding on board here with Eggman in the battle for P8. He's on the back of T, looking to the inside. DRS wide open. The straight line speed advantage there, absolutely unbelievable. And Eggman makes a move up into 8th place there into turn 1 with a very easy overtake in the end. He's obviously got 3 lap fresher tyres. It wouldn't have made the world of difference, but he's certainly made it work there. And Eggman can now pull up onto the back of Liberty Walk, who's only a second and a half up the road from him, as we continue to see the gap absolutely tumbling here between Tezza and Senna. You can see them both in the same shot there as they come through turn 1. Senna absolutely on a mission here, but has he taken too much life out of these tyres? Is he going to find himself on the rear of Tezza with no grip left to have a crack at him?
He will be fine, I think.
Yeah, well, this is going to sound very contradictory of what I've long said, but we do know that Senna can be quite good at managing his tyres. But when we're this close to the end of the season, with how close this championship is getting, I think Senna is going to be pushing it and giving it everything he possibly can.
Eggman just made a move off of the track there as they were coming into the stadium section, the corner before the stadium section. Eggman went well off of the road, 4 wheels off, and completed an overtake there on Liberty Walk, and the stewards don't appear to have intervened there, so we might have to look at that one afterwards, guys, because that to me looked like a stone wall, went off the track and gained an advantage type of manoeuvre. But Liberty Walk trying to come back at him here down the straight as he's looking to the outside now. Is he going to be able to make this one happen? He's not. But yeah, for me, that was a black and white.
Sorry, go on.
No, I've said what I was going to say.
Completely missed that.
No, I was just going to say that earlier on towards the beginning of the race, I did see the stewards actually did give a warning to one driver for gaining a position after going off track.
Yeah, it is a thing. They do recognise it. It does get triggered sometimes, but there are some situations where, for whatever reason, it just doesn't pick it up on the game. I don't know why. It's a bit of a strange one. We can see T on the back of Liberty Walk now. Eggman's pulling away with those 6-lap fresher tyres, which I'm sure will be giving him some sort of performance advantage here at this point. T's picks up a 3-second time penalty there as we're running on board with him, so he's obviously overstepped track limits a little bit too much there. It wasn't noticeable, but obviously the game has noticed it. And he's still right on the back of a Liberty Walk. He is, yeah. He's been closing that gap. I've been watching it come down. Tezza, if Senna breezes past him and pulls away like he's like it's nothing, maybe Tezza's best opportunity now is going to be to box for soft tyres and set the fastest lap. That's job done there. So Senna moves himself through up into the lead of the race. Into turn 1 we go. That is Senna who's chasing his man down for the duration of this race. Tezza was the championship leader. Knew he had a chance to maybe extend it, but Senna has been in control of this one since the first stint. We knew that he had a trick up his sleeve. We knew he still had to come into the pits. He's gone and made those fresh tyres work to absolute perfection. And Tezza Mazza now is in P2. He's set to lose 7 points as it stands, but can he box for soft tyres and put in the fastest lap of the race if he can? The gap will be 29 points going into the final 2 rounds of the season.
I don't know. Did Tezza ever do that before? I'm the kind of dickhead that just boxes for a set of softs to gain 1 point, but I'm not sure if Tezza does it.
Well, he's got 27 seconds back to Papa Squanch, so he's got more than a pit stop in hand. I think he'd be silly not to.
He can do it, yeah.
Easily.
Well, even if he was to get back, even Papa Squanch was to get by him, he'll still have to pressure over to get past him anyway.
The Greavy in the meantime making a move here on his brother Little Greavy down the inside into turn 1 there on his soft tyres, which may or may not get to the end here, but he's done the move there beautifully there up into the final points paying position as these two, they're both extending their contracts with the Haas team for next season, and they've been driving in the Haas team now since season 2, so they are the longest serving partnership here. Oh, is Tezza's trying to come back at Senna. Look at this, wow, Tezza, incredible racing from Tezza Mazza. Wow, he's never given up here. On a set of 22 lap old hard tyres, he has come back at the man who's been hunting him down. Incredible.
Expected a lot in motive, but not this.
No, neither did I.
We saw from Tezza before, once when he knows that there's a fight on, he does not give it up.
He certainly doesn't.
It was a beautiful move as well, right around the outside.
I caught the tail end of it. I wasn't. You guys would have been watching all of it. Obviously, us on the stream wouldn't have caught the whole thing, but I caught it just as it was happening. But we can see Senna looking to the inside, trying to throw a dummy there as they come towards the stadium section now. But Tezza has gone and seized the ball by the horns and is somehow getting some life out of those hard tyres, which he's been on since lap 9. We're coming into the closing stages here at the Mexico City, but Senna's still right on the back of him here as they come to the final corner. We were just saying about how Tezza could be coming in for a consolation fastest that point. He's going for the win still. Oh, it's almost contact.
A little bit of contact.
Oh my god. That was very close. So Senna now cuts across there to defend the inside, coming into turn 1. Tezza looking to the outside. He's not going to be able to come back at him there. Senna gets the move done, back up into the lead, but saying that let's not be jumping to any conclusions just yet. Tezza's going to fight this one all the way to the flag.
This is very much reminiscent, even though it's not the same track, it's very, very much reminiscent of Abu Dhabi 2020.
I'll tell you what, Gerton, I was going to say, obviously I raised the point earlier about how Senna was going so quick on those medium tyres when he put them on, as in the meantime Papa Squanch just moved ahead of Matty Pitt up into 3rd, but I was saying, I was mentioning the fact that he was going so quick, he must have been taking life out of them, and you obviously suggested that my concerns probably weren't going to be founded, but I did raise the point that he was taking so much life out of his mediums that he might have nothing left by the time he pulls up onto the back of him. Obviously he got ahead of him without any issues, but now he's in the lead. Maybe the tyre wear is starting to kick in. Maybe he did push them a little bit too hard. Well, they're saying that he's just pulled out a second, so maybe not.
Yeah, I think the mediums are optimal pace for the first 8-9 laps, and then they slowly start to drop off. But what I noticed, Tezza had been saving up his battery to like 20-25%, and he's at absolutely 0 right now. So I think he used a little bit of battery to stay in the DRS, make the move into turn 1, hoping to stay ahead. But I think Senna's gonna run away.
He went for broke essentially, didn't he? And it didn't pay off, unfortunately. We've got Papa Squanchy, who seems to be a bit more comfortable with Matty Pitt and Horatio. Horatio attacking here on the back of Matty Pitt. And I'll tell you what, they're all coming at each other now. Oh my goodness, this is like a race start. As Horatio around the outside there. Papa Squanch getting swamped there by both of them. As Matty Pitt there moving through into the middle of them. But Horatio there back up into the podium places where he was a couple of laps ago on his 6-lap old soft tyres. Can he get those to the flag? They're going to be on a knife edge by the time we get to the end. I reckon Matty Pitt might have a chance to come back at him here right at the end of the race. With the situation currently as it is, Horatio is going to have soft tyres that are almost falling off on that final lap of the race. He'll have to do 9 laps on them, which as we know is extremely difficult indeed.
But if Matty wants this podium, he needs to overtake Horatio around now because he has a 3-second penalty.
Ah, that's true. I mean, Horatio's tyres are probably going to be starting to go off now, aren't they? They're soft. You usually get about 5-6 laps, good laps out of them before they start to sort of seep away. So, yeah, like you say, Matty Pitt's got to go for it now, but has he got the grip to do so? As we're on lap 34 now, the race leader Senna's putting out the gap to Tezza consistently. Seems to be in control of this one. I was saying a couple of laps ago, Tezza maybe should start thinking about coming in for a set of softs and doing the fastest lap. That's got to be surely a realistic prospect for him now.
Yeah. This lap is the latest he can do it then.
He's got to, surely. I mean, what's he got to lose? Because he's got a big enough gap back to Horatio. He can afford to come in and make an easy pit stop. He's got the pace to be able to do it. Doesn't even need to push. He's got the pace inside of his own ability. And obviously fresh tyres as well to be able to pump in a very average lap. And it will probably be the fastest lap. So he just needs to get himself in and give it a go. Like I say, there's nothing to lose, surely.
Nah. Only thing that could put him in danger is himself by just pushing.
He doesn't even need to push on his fastest lap attempt. He just needs to pump in a very average lap. Those fresh tyres are going to do the work for him, essentially. You know, he just needs to make sure he doesn't bin it.
Out of the race.
Yeah, Mr. Basil made a mistake.
Big crash at
what
the
happened?
back.
Oh, I just saw that in the background of Tezza. Who was that?
Liberty Walk with, I think, the Grief.
Yeah, it was.
Oh dear, is that going to be a safety? It's not going to be a safety car because it's too late in the race, but the Grieve has retired the car. Yeah, it's going to be a caution, a full course caution here as Liberty Walk continuing, but there is the stricken car, the Haas car of the Grieve, as his teammate Little Grievey continuing along. But that's the disaster there for the Grieve and for Liberty Walk. Liberty Walk will still get a point for his troubles as long as he can make it to the checkered flag. That might maybe finish the race under caution here though, as Matty Pitt's still on the back of Horatio at the moment. WTF Freak also on the back of Eggman. Yeah, he did. He retired just afterwards. He did that one himself as well. That was a rage quit there. Although you can kind of understand that one, I think.
Yeah, but from what I could see when the camera finally changed to the cars, I think it was the Alpha Tauri that was getting squeezed to the edge of the track from the Grieve. I'm not 100% sure on that one. Because obviously I'm not with yourself for screen share, I can't have a look back on stream. So.
Yeah, honestly, on that part, I'm the worst commentator ever. I missed like half the race, so I'm not sure who was at fault.
Ian, have you been able to watch the YouTube stream?
I always have it on the behind the share screen. So
how's it running? Is it running all right?
A little bit pixely, but yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
There's no stutters or anything, it is a little bit pixely, but other than that it's still perfectly watchable.
Okay. Might have to figure out a solution to the share play, because the share play seems to be slowing it down.
No, like I said, it's because you are normally streaming in 720. Now you're streaming in 1080 now, no, 7 whatever one.
Well, we've got Senna coming into the stadium section. Here he comes. So he's got a 22-second lead over Tezza. Obviously, with Tezza coming in for a pit stop for the soft tyres to do the fastest lap. But it's going to be Senna out of the final corner. He's going to close the gap in the championship to Tezza Muzza. It's going to be 28 points as things stand. But if Tezza can pump in the fastest lap here on this final lap, then the gap will be 29 points going into the final 2 rounds of the season. Obviously, we've got next week at Las Vegas, and then we've got the double round. We've got the sprint and the Grand Prix at Brazil to round out the season. But Tezza around the final corner Is it going to be the fastest lap of the race for him? He comes over now, and it is the fastest lap. Was it ever in doubt? He takes it. He takes the extra point.
Not really.
19 points for Tesla tonight. That means the gap will be 29 points in Tesla Mazda's favour going into the final 2 rounds of the season. Horatio comes over to complete the podium ahead of Matty Pitt. In fact, Papa Squanch gets Matty Pitt on the penalties. So Papa Squanch 4th, Matty Pitt over in P5. Liberty Walk just finished the race a lap down in P10. We've got Eggman, who's just coming into the final sector. He's just ahead of WTF Freak at the moment, but he seems to have enough of a gap. He should be able to bring it home quite comfortably here in the end, as we've got the confetti going off there in the grandstands in the stadium, and looking like a real celebration here. Obviously, if it was real life, that would be great to be at. But currently got Eggman coming out the final corner. It's going to be a P6 here for him, ahead of WTF Freak, who'll bring it home in 7th. T's going to come home in 8th, not too far behind them, and then he's got a couple of seconds back to Little Greavy. He'll be the last driver over the line, and that is that then for tonight's action. But Senna taking the win there, very convincing win at that. Definitely the man to beat, definitely the one with the better pace between himself and Tezza. Tezza obviously was a bit disadvantaged by the fact that he started down the order, but I think that nonetheless, I think that Senna just about had the edge on him tonight, personally, if I have to say. But guys, what a race that was. I've got to ask you both for your driver of the day, starting with you first, Iain.
I'm going to give it to Senna.
Senna for driver of the day.
That's try to catch. Yeah, he's the one that's trying to keep up with the championship leader of Tezza, and he's just doing everything he possibly can, and he's holding his own.
Okay, Iain, what about you?
I think I'm gonna have to go for Tezza. Starting in P12, getting back to P2, pitting for the fastest lap. It wasn't like he was much slower than Senna, especially going around the outside of turn 1 on one hard. That was impressive.
Yeah, it was.
I'm going for Tezza, I think.
That was one of the moments of the race for me, because I thought it was job done. I thought Senna was just going to pull away, and then all of a sudden, looked at the leaderboard. Wow, where's that come from? I'm going to say Horatio, just to go a bit different. Obviously, did a great job to finish on the podium. Had some good battles there with Papa Squanch and Matty Pitt, and came out on top of both of them. I think it's his second race back in a while. He raced last week, but he's getting back into it here at Motive. He's been really, really strong since he returned, so hopefully he can keep that up. But thanks, everybody. To those of you watching this back afterwards, hope you did enjoy. If you did, please share it with your friends, family members, and otherwise associates, and also drop a like on the video. And we will see you very, very soon. Take it easy, and good night.
Good night.